All right, so we're going to take a look at a few different parts of fractions and things you need to know in order to deal with fractions. The first thing is the greatest common factor. Okay, so how does the greatest common factor work? So for example, if I have the fraction 16 over 64 and I need to simplify that, I could divide by 2, which would give me 8 over 32. But when I see that, I realize that I could simplify even further by dividing by 8, which would give me 1/4. So because I had to divide by 2 and then also by 8, that means that my greatest common factor is actually 16. So I could have divided by 16 in the beginning and I would have gotten 1/4. All right, the next question we're going to look at is what is the greatest common factor of 15 and 27? And I'm going to show you a different way to look at this. So if I factor 15, I can only do 5 and 3. When I factor 27, I do 9 and 3, and then 9 factors to 3 and 3. The only number that they have in common is a 3. So that is their greatest common factor. All right, let's look at the least common denominator. The least common denominator is necessary in order to add and subtract fractions. So let's look at an example. 3/5 plus 4/15. They do not have a common denominator, so we need to find one. Well, the least common denominator is actually going to be 15. That is also the least common multiple. So multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And so when we get to 15, that means that's our least common multiple. So then 3/5 becomes 9/15, and we add the numerators only. Okay, the 4/15 did not change. The denominator should stay the same, should be the same, and then should stay the same when you're adding and subtracting fractions. Make sure you take a look at how I got 9/15 from 3/5. You need to make sure that you always simplify fractions. Always take a look at your answer and make sure it's in simplest form. For example, 3/9 is 1/3. 15/27 is 5/9. Those are both simplified, and those are the answers that I would expect. Make sure you know how to convert a mixed number to an improper fraction. 3 and 1/3, you multiply 3 times 3 and add the numerator, which is 1, and you get 10/3. And if you were to divide 10 by 3, you would in fact get 3 and 1/3. I prefer your answers to be in improper fractions, as in the 10/3, not the mixed number, which is like 5 and 3/8. Again, 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43/8. And then I've got one more example for you. 4 and 2/3, 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14 over 3. And none of those can be simplified, so we would just leave our answer like that.